let's talk about promotional subdisciplines. I think most of you have taken a few classes with me now. You got a good sense of what some of these are, but let's talk about how it intersects with event marketing, which really helps us understand why we're taking this class in the first place. So, I think a really great question I get is wouldn't event marketing be considered part of content marketing? Yeah, it could be. It's not there. A lot of people definitely think of it that way. Um, if you think of the definition that we've talked about in the content marketing class, it's the creation and collection of valuable content pieces aligned with consumer needs and wants, which are then shared through owned media to promote an organization and their products. Well, when you're doing events, it's essentially content. Just because it's not written, content doesn't have to be flat, two dimensional. Content is, we put together some material that can be shared with people. And listening to a presentation in a seminar, that's definitely content. Watching a video that was made, that is itself content. Um, all these things that happen in person to person communication can still be thought of as content. It's just something that when you're doing an event, it takes place in a synchronous fashion, right? You got to be there at that time that's happening. That's just one of the things that make events a little bit different. And with virtual events, you can log in and see things later if you weren't there at the time it was happening. But what is different about content marketing versus event marketing is that when we talk about content marketing, we're really expressing how, as we create these content pieces, we're trying to push them out across our owned channels. So this is like stuff on our website, stuff on our social media pages. We control this YouTube channel. So what are these places that we already own? We've already branded it ourselves. We are in control of these channels. We're putting marketing pieces out there in the arena that we can control. When we're doing event marketing, that can happen in spaces that we own, but it can also be largely involved in places that we pay for. We pay to participate in a conference. And a huge part of event marketing is trying to create some buzz. Notice how I'm saying creating buzz, not creating viral marketing, because it's one of the terms I hate the most. You don't create things that are viral. They just happen to go viral. But you can work towards generating buzz. And you do that authentically by creating stuff that's really interesting. So event marketing, I think, is a little bit different in the sense that it's not so much that the content happens in person-to-person communication. The biggest difference is you're not necessarily tied to a specific channel. That's a key difference in content marketing. There are other aspects of event marketing that connect to other promotional subdisciplines. And so I think of event marketing in a lot of ways. It's bridging what we do with content marketing and these other types of promotional subdisciplines. So before I give you some specific examples, let's just review what are these different subdisciplines. So we talked about content marketing. Everybody in this class should know about advertising at this point. You've taken 1 or 2 advertising classes at this point. I'm guessing a number of you have taken public relations and you understand what that is. So here, instead of us buying media, we are trying to seed information out there so other people pick it up and they push it out there as earned media. Direct marketing is one of the most confusing subdisciplines because direct marketing can mean a couple of different things. You'll notice right here I said you're using direct promotional channels such as postage mail or email. So these are things where, as I send these, they are directly sending the message to a person whose address we know. Or you could be using a flexible promotional channel such as search or display or mobile. And it's got a direct message where we're trying to ask them to go do something right now. So part of the trick is about how is it addressable, and also do we want them to take some action? In direct marketing, we generally do. And it's often, its full name would be direct response marketing, because we're trying to often get them to dial a 1-800 number or send in a business reply card or take some kind of action that gets us further down the purchase funnel. But that's a different topic for a different day. The idea is we're trying to get people to do short-term actions. So there's a lot of overlap between direct and other types of promotion. Then we got sales promotion, and we're going to talk about sales promotion a lot in this class because there's a lot of overlap between that and event marketing. So this would be the art of persuading either consumers to purchase a product or a trade partner, so like a distribution partner where you maybe retail your product, to help sell a product through a limited duration incentive or retail display. And there's lots of arguments about this terminology. For a lot of people, sales promotion just basically means coupons. For a limited amount of time, you're giving a discount to prompt short-term sales. But I would also say sales promotion really kind of talks about in-store stuff as well. So like signage, little end caps, promotions that help direct attention to people where they actually buy the product. And that could be like, a Monopoly game at Safeway. There's all kinds of different things that could fall into this bucket. Some people see sales promotion as something separate from in-store promotion or retail promotions, but again, not going to get into it in this class right now. I wanted you to understand what sales promotion is as distinctly different than sales. Sales is the idea of like hiring people to do the person-to-person communications. And that can be really confusing for a lot of people because so much of event marketing is about person to person. But a salesperson really is you've hired a team of people to essentially apply pressure and close that sale and answer their questions and get to the conversion. Finally, we've got sponsorship. Sponsorship is confusing to people because it kind of is a mix between advertising and PR in the sense that you are paying for money, but what you're trying to do is you're again trying to seed things that get then people to have conversations, which will of course then start some positive associations of your brand or your product. So when you sponsor a sports stadium, if people enjoy the sport, they enjoy the games they're watching there, it can create some positive association with your brand, which can translate to some goodwill towards your brand and some brand equity and some conversations that may impact your long-term sales. Okay, now that we've reviewed those, let's talk about how this connects to event marketing. So, how does it tap into these? Well, events historically have been designed to really partner with sales. It brings all these people together, whether they're consumers or they're B2B audiences. And then there's a sales team there who can either begin to initiate a new transaction or close that transaction. When you go to a conference, when you attend a webinar, you often are getting some collateral. So these are physical pieces of content. So this is another example of content marketing. It's definitely a key part of what happens in events. Sales promotion might be focused on that short-term sales incentive, like the coupon. But in order to get people to pay attention to that discount, we often have event elements just like shine a light on it and say, hey, look, there's a special thing going on right now. So events are a big part of working with sales promotion. Events definitely can be very effective at creating word of mouth during the actual event, after the event. So in a lot of ways, events have a strong connection with public relations. And of course, every time you have an event, there's going to be some sponsorship opportunities, and that can create some goodwill about your brand. And often with event marketing, it really helps with the perception that your brand is a thought leader. So it's a big reason why a lot of times people will sponsor an event or maybe just a track at a conference. And we'll talk about that more in the future weeks. So hopefully this discussion gave you some context and some understanding of how this connects to the other types of promotion we've talked about in this program. If you got any questions, make sure and reach out to me or Meg.